You remember the Satanic Panic, Shane?
Oh, how could I forget?
So I don't know. I'm assuming I'm older than you, but there was this book that came out when I was a kid called and this might be a Mandela effect. I remember Demons in the Toy Box, but
Hmm.
looking it up, it's called Turmoil in the Toy Box.
Timeline.
And
We had a timeline shift, perhaps. I'm 40, by the way, so I don't remember that book though, but I do remember the Satanic Panic. But tell us more.
well, so I grew up in a fundamentalist, independent Baptist Christian household, like um, in church every time the doors were open. And this book came out when I was, a younger child in 1986. I would have been 7. And it went around the church like wildfire. And I lost all my He-Man figures because summoning the power of Grayskull is evil.
Well, yeah. Skeletor,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Skeletor is definitely a demon.
Straight up
So,
demon, yeah.
um,
Let him know.
which is funny because me and my best friend now we just swap this meme back and forth, and it's like a picture of Mr. Robot, but the caption is like that feeling you get when your conservative Christian grandma was right and everything is satanic and demonic. So,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, I know. I'm there now. I totally get it.
so this is kind of a secondhand story, but I've talked to at least 10 people about it, and it really happened. So everybody in the church was purging their house of things that could be demonic and satanic and um, related to the devil in any way. And we had a new person in the church that had moved close into the neighborhood, and they had a Ouija board. And um, there was some talk amongst the deacons and the elders as to how to take care of this Ouija board because that is abjectly evil. And so they decided they were going to burn it.
Hmm.
And my mom was there because she was the administrative assistant and a teacher in the school, Christian school church that we were involved in. So they decided to burn this Ouija board. And as they're burning this Ouija board, the black smoke turns green. There's a screech. An egg pops out. They kick the egg back into the fire. The scream is louder. Then the fire burns all the way out.
What?
What kind of egg are we talking about here,
Yeah,
bud?
how big? Do we know?
Okay. All right. So
Ostrich
I'm
egg or
8,
chicken
so
egg?
they don't want to tell me about this. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to go through, the bicycle network ride my bike to my friend's house, to hear what he heard, And then when I got old enough, I was able, to talk to my mom about this. But it was a little bit bigger than a chicken egg, and then smaller than an ostrich egg. And it was kind of black and green. And she said that everybody gasped and was scared and just had this paralyzing fear, and that it was just reactionary for this guy Ron Coons to kick the egg back into the fire. And then there was some discussion as to what to do with the ashes after the fact. And then they had to call the pastor, and it was a huge ordeal. Um,
Did the pastor not oversee the fire?
no, the pastor was eating dinner. It was the deacons, my mom, the people that were new to the church, and then the older daughters, I believe.
So the people who were new to the church with the Ouija board, they came to the church and said, "Hey, we got this Ouija board. We got to take care of it. What do we do?"
Well, they had came to the church because it was literally 2 streets over from where they had just moved in. The Christian school that we went to had a big sign that said now accepting, applications for people to attend. So they were interested in attending the school because it was relatively inexpensively priced. And in order to go to the school, you had to be a member of the church. So they were trying to get into school and go to church. But this book came out and it was just a wildfire among the ladies groups and the mothers. And I remember us all getting together in the cafeteria, the mothers and the kids, and talking about this book and, the perils of, the way demons can get to us. So that's when these people did an inventory of their toys and found out they had this Ouija board and how dangerous, of course, that it was.
Right. What were the theories? Did you hear any theories about like what the egg was?
Well, I'm going to assume a demon because anytime you talk to me about anything, I'm going to assume it's a demon.
Right. And then what it would have hatched? And you think like it was in the Ouija, like a dead, not a dead spirit, but just a spirit in the Ouija board that was trying to escape the fire?
That would be my assumption because everything that I know about spirits, the enemy, demonology, and things like that is, they want to have a physical manifestation. And it seems like an embryonic manifestation would be for like probably a younger evil spirit, or maybe something that they had.
Did anyone from the church that you heard talk about it? Like, was anyone skeptical of it, saying like it wasn't really that, maybe it was something else? Because I agree that there's a lot of demonic stuff, but I also know that especially during the Satanic Panic, there were people almost like false flags, like I was talking about earlier, but for the Satan stuff, there are people doing hoaxes, then other people would believe those things, and it was like a distraction from the actual thing that was happening. So like, was anyone around being like, we don't believe it actually happened, or it was something different, or like a hoax of sorts?
I would say, being that I was 8, my recollection of, other people's perspective on it was probably not as keen, and my discernment wasn't as good as, say, a 45-year-old me. But I know that everybody that was involved was in full belief of it. And I know that there were some in the same neighborhood. There was a culvert that had some spray paint of a pentagram, which people were very skeptical of. We're like, oh, this is a hoax.
Right.
And so I know that there was skepticism among the congregation about certain things, but I know that overall, based off of, there being a deacon there, and I am going to assume that my mom is telling me the truth.
Right.
Because she was a wonderful lady.
Yeah, that's a crazy story. I have not heard anything like that before, but I definitely don't mess with Ouija boards.
Yeah, and I think there's an app now, so I might smash my phone when I get off of it. I'm not sure exactly.
Well, yeah, I mean, do it safely. I don't want an egg to pop out of your phone.
Yeah, well, I mean, don't tell Raven that I told you an egg story.
If it does, kick it back into the fire.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.